Welcome back, guys. I've had the Defender for approaching 18 months now, so I thought it's about time I did a little update on it, just to let you know why I use this car more than any of the others we have. It's just such a great car to jump into. Literally, it'll go everywhere. It just doesn't get stuck anywhere. You don't really care where you park it. The kids love it. You know, in a world of boring cars, it's just something for them to look at, you know, when you're driving past. It's nice. Even the teenagers, the youths, they love it as well. I think it's probably because it's in like Forza or something, but yeah, they seem to love Defenders as well. You get used to the clutch in these. Yes, they are notoriously heavy and your left leg does start to resemble Arnold Schwarzenegger's, but again, you get used to it. It has the turning circle of the QE2, but again, you can fix that by putting lower offset wheels on it. So there's all these little things you can do to it that are quite easy compared to trying to upgrade them on a, say, a normal car. Now, I'm probably not going to do too many motorway miles in this, if I'm being completely honest, whilst the roads are all kind of wet and slippy. It's mainly because of the tyres. It has the BF Goodrich all-terrain tyres on it, which are really good, but not in the wet. I've noticed that, you know, if you need to brake hard, they do tend to lock up. If you go into a bend a little bit sharpish, then they will understeer into the corner a bit. So it doesn't really fill you with confidence. And if you've got your family in the car and you're on a motorway and you need to brake hard, I honestly don't think it's going to do the trick. Likewise, you can upgrade the brakes on these, but I don't think that's going to matter. You know, it's ultimately the contact points. And, you know, if the tyres don't grip, it doesn't matter. You can have the best brakes in the world. You're still going to end up in the car in front of you. So, yeah, I'm probably not going to be using this much to do the longer trips down to see family where the motorways are involved, but around town on the local roads, yeah, I'll still be using it. It's a great car for that. So I've had a bit of work done in the last month. I say done, I've done the work. I had a few quotes to get it done, but ultimately the price was coming in a bit expensive, so I thought I'd try it. A couple easy things, or meant to be easy, was to change the front bumper. That was an absolute pain. It pretty much ripped half my finger off. The bolts were all seized. I had to use a bolt extractor to get them off, but they all came off in the end, and I've now got a nice new shiny black bumper on it that looks tons better. Now, I know Defenders aren't about weight saving, but honestly, I reckon I must have saved about 10 kilograms in weight. The amount of mud that was in the inside of that bumper, it was unbelievable. I've also changed the steering wheel as well. You can see here in another video, it's much nicer now. It's the Prototipo Momo. It had a Momo on this before, but this is just much more, I don't know, in keeping with the look of the Defender. The previous one didn't look out of place in Fast and Furious. I've also fixed the rear door lock. The rear door lock basically just left the central locking party. It just would not lock when I was pressing the key fob. Apparently that's quite common. It's either the actuator or it's the wire in the door. So I love to make life difficult for myself. I thought I'd check the actuator first for some stupid reason. So I stripped the door down, got into the innards of the door, bought an actuator. It was only 35 quid. I was quoted £300 by a local independent garage to repair it for me. Yeah, it turns out it wasn't the actuator. The previous actuator was absolutely fine. It was just the wire that runs in the little grommets between the door had snapped, which is pretty common apparently. So I just had to change that. Cost me 35p in the end to fix, so that was nice and easy. I used that as an opportunity as well whilst the door was stripped down to sound deaden it. So I'm now in the process of sound deadening all the other doors as well. But when you do that, make sure you buy lots of new little trim clips because you inevitably snap them off when you're trying to get the trim off. Now, I also had the MOT done, the first MOT since owning the Defender. Defender and MOT in the same sentence are normally very scary. This, it passed, so I was very happy about that. But what is it about MOT testers? I've got the MOT certificate here. Do they just like, they have their personalities removed before they kind of start work in the morning? I tried to chat to the guy and he went, ugh, just grunted at me. It's like, come on. You know, I was trying to be friendly, but he didn't want to know, basically. So it passed, but it had a couple of little advisories. Namely, the seatbelt webbing was slightly frayed on both sides. Now, I'll show you. This does happen on Defenders. It's just basically where the seatbelt gets caught on the little metal connector bit on the door, and it just gets mashed. But it's just, it doesn't really damage it. And did that really warrant an advisory? And that's on both sides. And I've got t-shirts for more fraying than what you can see here. This is just crazy. So it's really just the seatbelt things that annoyed me on this one. But this guy, he's a new MOT tester. He's replaced my my Tame MOT tester, and he also gave me an advisory on the Range Rover because he had a car seat in the back with the seatbelt attached. I was in reception. He could have just come and got me and said, mate, would you mind just unplugging the seatbelt? Otherwise I'll have to give you an advisory. But no, he just advisory, seatbelt, cannot test the seatbelt. It's just little things like that. I mean, I've been using these guys for years, but I'm now looking around because there's that and there's this now. The fraying of a seatbelt when it is literally just like a mark. It'll probably come off if we use some baby wipes. Baby wipes, they fix everything, by the way. So next on my list for modifications, now it's got through the MOT okay, probably going to be the seats. As much as I love these, I mean, obviously the seat skins look amazing, but the actual seats, I'm really tempted to go with Recaro or the Corbeau. I think the Recaro Cross Sportster CS, I think they're called. They've got the removable bases here, so you can still get the battery compartment. They look so good in the Defender. They are pricey, but yeah, I'm quite tempted by that. If I do that, then I probably am going to lower the suspension a little bit as well, because you've probably seen in one of my other videos, these are just ever so slightly over 2 meters, so you do struggle to get through a lot of the car park height restrictions because they're all exactly 2 meters. These are like 2 meters and 1 or something. It's like, yeah, good work. I'm quite tempted to upgrade the air intake and put a snorkel on it, mainly because I was chatting to a neighbor who's also got a 110 utility, and he did that. And apparently the air intakes are really restrictive on Defenders, and by putting a snorkel on, unbelievably, it actually helps improve the intake, and it also improves the performance. He said for him, he hasn't had his remap, but it actually has a similar improvement to the performance as a remap. So because this has been remapped, if I were to do a snorkel as well, then I'll be keeping up with the M3, I reckon. So I might try that and we'll see. I'm also going to sound deaden and probably retrim the roof. So this all literally just comes off, these clip out, and I don't know, I quite fancy doing that in Alcantara, black Alcantara. The only issue with that is I then need to get these retrimmed. I can't do them myself, whereas I can the rest. This one though, the wife will be happy, because if I do get this retrimmed, I will add a mirror, and she loves a mirror. So I'll probably be doing that. So yeah, there is still plenty to be doing with the Defender, but it's a nice little project to have on a drive, isn't it? It's good fun, keeps me out of trouble. And well, yeah, in other news, the only thing I was going to say is Twisted apparently are going to shut their online shop at the end of 2020, which is, I guess, good for them. The reason they're doing it is to protect the investment of their customers that spend crazy money having Twisted automotive Defenders built that cost like 100 grand plus. I guess their online store, you can just buy the wheels, you can buy, you know, add-on bits to make your Defender look twisted-y. And I guess that, yeah, it makes sense for them, because that does just kind of protect their investment, doesn't it? So for me, I've got twisted wheels on the car already, so in some ways that is good as well for me, because you're not going to be able to buy twisted wheels anymore. So any of you guys that have already got twisted stuff on your Defender, it's just going to protect the value of it, really. But equally, that does also mean you're going to have to watch them a little bit closer as well, because the thieves will be keeping a closer eye on twisted items and paraphernalia too. So anyway, I'm going to end the video there. It was just a short one as a little update as to where I'm at with the Defender, what it's like living with it 18 months in, the fact it's past the MOT, and yeah, what I've got planned for it in the future. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, drop a comment, and I'll see you soon.